Hello everyone, welcome to Even the Scales. Thank you for clicking on my video today and I hope you're all having a good day. My name's Donna and today on my channel I would like to talk to you about the impact that the abuse that I have been going through here in Campbelltown, New South Wales has had not only on myself but also the impact that it's had on the community as a whole and the environment as well. I would also like to address the leader of Campbelltown, who is the general manager of Campbelltown, and her name is Lindy Dietz. I'd just like to ask her some questions. I hope that she watches this video today, and she's in charge of the overall operation here in Campbelltown. And I'd just like to ask her why she has allowed one of the most unethical, environmentally damaging, and inhumane acts of cruelty that has probably ever been executed in Australia to take place here in Campbelltown on an innocent citizen. Now, I can't say personally, I don't know if it is, if it is the cruelest act of that's ever been executed in Australia. I can't say that for certain, but all I know is that it has been very cruel, it has been very damaging to the environment, and has definitely been unethical. And I've never heard of anything else like this ever happening to anyone. So, first of all, I would like to do an acknowledgement of country and acknowledge the Dharawal people, who are the true custodians of the land that I bring you these messages on today. I would also like to pay respect to elders, past and present, as well as extend my respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people who are watching this video today. For those of you who haven't heard my story before, my family, the majority of the community here in Campbelltown, the police and other authorities have been carrying out very cruel psychological abuse tactics on me for over a year now. It's all being done as a part of a huge cover-up by the justice system. The justice system are trying to take me out of the picture completely so that they don't have to take accountability for the crimes that they have been involved in and the corruption. They are doing this to make me lose hope in my life, or to cause me serious mental or physical health problems, or even death. Whatever comes first, it doesn't matter to them. They are trying to cause major endings in my life. They want to remove me completely, or they want me to lose my independence completely so that they can take control of my life. They are also purposely isolating me, so is my family. They are involved in this. I have no help whatsoever. If I try and turn to anyone for help, the justice system go to them and they tell them that they either can't help me or they are bribed not to help me. I'm being put through the cruelest, most relentless psychological abuse all day, every day, and sometimes into the night. It has quietened down over the past few days, which I'm very grateful for. But the justice system have been paying the community to abuse me. And the justice system have teamed up with the health system to do this. The health system is also holding back very, very serious and important information about my health in the hope that my health conditions will just get worse before I can make them any better. Because I'm speaking out about this, these videos are being seen more and more, and this can't be hidden anymore. I had to start this channel to save my life. I'm not doing this for likes, I'm not doing it for views, although I do want people to know what's going on here in Campbelltown. I had to create this channel to literally save my life because there was absolutely no one to turn to for help. So there's limited ways that they can get to me now, because I've been speaking out about the disgusting ways that my human rights have been violated and the environmental damage that's been caused as a part of this abuse. This is why they can't get to me in the ways that they were before. But in some respects, the abuse that I've been through over the past couple of weeks has actually been more intense, because they're not getting as many chances to carry out abuse. When they are taking those opportunities and just making the absolute most of them. Up until a day ago, I had the people that involved that live around me that have very close access to me. I had them carrying out psychological abuse in very, very sneaky ways. It's happened today, so it is still going on with these people. These people made my home virtually unlivable for a couple of weeks. They have been involved in the abuse, though, for over a year. But for the past couple of weeks, it's been really intense because they do have that close access. They are the only ones that can carry out psychological abuse in sneaky ways. When I go out, I'm still being stalked by tens of people. It was hundreds, it's probably tens now. They come towards me. With all of them have some kind of psychological abuse that they are going to carry out on me as they come towards me. That I'm either provoked by them, I'm mocked, or I'm traumatized in some way. This happens to me every time I go out in public. When I'm out in public at the shops or even on the road, there are people coming towards me to carry out abuse from every single direction. And there is absolutely not a second goes by when I am out that I'm not being abused in one way or another. And right now, because these people are panicking, because the truth's out, some of them have just done so much over the past year that they are panicking, and they must be in the mindset like, we have to cause her a mental health episode. We have to. Otherwise, we're going to have to take accountability for what we've done. So they are just taking these opportunities and just doing the most, doing whatever they can to carry out abuse on me. I'm definitely not meant to be here right now. I've been abused every single day for an entire year, every day. And I don't think that me surviving was an option for these people. I'm definitely not supposed to be here now. They've obviously done this to other people and gotten away with it. Here come the police stalking me now. So they know that I'm recording this video and I'm about to put it out publicly. So they're stalking me. That's just to intimidate, to try and cause me fear. Hopefully you can hear it. It's in the helicopter. They're doing it from a bit of a distance. So they're just letting me know that they're there, and they probably know that the camera isn't going to pick it up. They know I'm making this video right now because they're watching me in my home. There is a camera in my home where I'm watched every single minute of the day. There is also a listening device in my car, and I'm tracked everywhere I go. All of my devices can be seen as well. And this is not only by the police, this is by random members of the community. This is by my family members. Abusers from my past have been given access to listen in and watch me in my home. And this is so members of the community, and the police can just come up with creative ways to carry out abuse on me, and it's so that they can have that control over everything that I do and everything that's on my path. So it doesn't matter where I go or what I do, whether I'm in my home or whether I'm out, I'm being watched and tracked, and they like to control everything that comes along my path, so that everything that gets put in front of me when I'm out is fake, because they will send stalkers towards me. If I mention something on these videos, or if I mention something that's happened to me, they will do it more. When I go out, they make sure they do more of it. I'm a totally innocent person. I've done nothing at all to deserve any of this, except speak out for my rights. And the fact that this is a cover-up, and that police don't want to take accountability for what they have done. And I wrote a letter to the justice system just over a year ago, and I explained in that letter all of the injustices that I've been through over the past 10 years. I'm not going to go right into that now. You can go back and look at any of my other videos, and they will go into detail about these injustices and the letter that I wrote. I will actually leave a link in the description box if you are interested in. I'll leave a link for a couple of videos in the description box that you can go back and look at if you are interested in finding out more details of what I've been through. But I had police officers connected to my family and in my family that have been obstructing me from receiving justice for the past 10 years. And it was after I wrote this letter that the police started paying the community to carry out abuse on me. One of the crimes that the police have been involved in is that there is a police officer that has committed a very serious and violent crime against women. There is also a pedophile that the police are covering for. They also don't want people to know how they responded to my calls for help over the past 10 years while I've been living with family and domestic violence. And my family are also involved in this, and the reason they are involved in this is because they have stolen an inheritance from me. So this was another thing that I reported to the police, to the justice system, and this is why my family are a part of this abuse, because they obviously don't want to be held accountable for stealing that money, and the justice system have helped them do that. So yeah, in September 2024, I started this channel. If I hadn't have started this channel, I don't think I would have survived what I've been through here. It was like drastic measures had to be taken for the drastic situation that I was in at the time. These are some of the ways that my human rights are being violated right now. First of all, I have absolutely no privacy whatsoever. None. Every single move I make is scrutinized and watched. Every single detail of my life. My free will has been taken away as far as receiving my inheritance and what's been taken away from me. My right to receiving justice has been taken away completely. I've been denied proper health care in the way that the health department or the health system is holding back very serious information about my health from me. There has been several attempts from family members and other people to try and destroy my life, including intrusions into my house. I've had break-ins where family members have broke into my house. I've had property vandalized. I've been made, that people have tried to set me up, family members have tried to set me up for crimes, very serious crimes. My right to feel safe has been taken away. The police are the main instigators of this abuse here in Campbelltown. I'm stalked every day by these police and have been for the past year. They stalk me to cause me fear and anxiety and to let me know, just to remind me that they're not there to help me. It's to make me try and lose hope in my life. And it's also to let the community know that it's okay for them to abuse me. It's like a signal to the community. And the police stalk me according to my movements in my home. So they're watching every move I make in my home and they stalk me according to whatever I'm doing. My right to move around freely as a human being should be able to has been taken away. My right to being able to experience authentic experiences in my life has been taken away because everywhere I go, there's people set up on my path. I've been denied the right to being treated with equality like other members of the community in very extreme ways. And I've been put through this psychological torture every day for over a year. There are big organisations involved in this, and it is a huge network of people that have taken part in this. Now, the attacks on the environment. Since mid-March 2024 up until now, they have been carrying out regular noise attacks to deliberately create air pollution and noise. They use all forms of transport to carry these out. You can watch, again, you can go back and watch my earlier videos. They go into detail about these noise attacks on just about every video. There were thousands of cars involved in these, loud cars, trucks, bikes, road bikes and trail bikes, trains, buses, light planes and jumbo jets have all been a part of these noise attacks. These have been going on since mid-March, so that's almost a year. What they would do was they would all go out there and create this noise all at once, as much noise and as much pollution as they possibly could. Several times a day this was being done for months, probably for about, I think probably 8 or 9 months. This was being done several times a day here in Campbelltown. Once I started talking about it, it started to die off a bit. It is still happening though. It is still happening here every day in one way or another. The noise generated from these things was absolutely massive. I have never experienced anything like it in my life. You would have to be here in Campbelltown to actually appreciate just how unnatural these things were, these attacks. They were unbelievable. And these were being done to drive me out of town, to cause me mental health illness, distress, or damage to my nervous system. They were also being done to affect the air and to affect breathing. They know that I'm an avid carer of the environment, and this is why they are still carrying these attacks out. They're doing it to try and trigger me. That is the whole object of me being provoked, mocked, traumatized, abused, and that was the point of these noise attacks, was just to try and trigger me so that they can turn around and say that I am crazy. And because they have gone to such great lengths to carry some of these setups out, if I say anything to anyone, I will look crazy. This is why I have to show people the big picture of what's going on here every time I create one of these videos. Because this is what the police want. They want me to call them. They want me to need help. They are trying to drive me to the point where I have a mental health breakdown so that I have to call an ambulance. This is what they want, so they can turn around and say that I'm delusional and this isn't happening to me. So for the past year, the leaders of this town have been allowing this to go on. And if you live or work anywhere in the Campbelltown area, there is no way at all that you could have possibly not have known that these attacks were going on. The noise coming from these things was absolutely hideous, and they were unnatural. It was just unnatural in every way. So they were deliberately creating CFCs, carbon emissions. Carbon emissions that are being created here on Earth right now, out of all of the carbon emissions that are being created, the second largest of all cause of them is from transport. And I tell you what, Campbelltown, the citizens of Campbelltown and the people involved in this have really made a contribution to that this year, or throughout 2024 up until now, 2025. For a whole year, there has been no regulation of noise, no regulation of the pollution. These noise attacks were starting as early as 3 a.m. in the morning. Some mornings they would start before I even got up out of bed. And sometimes they would go through till midnight. So there was no regulation of the noise restrictions. Even through the week, these were going on. And, sometimes it may just be one vehicle or bike that they're using. Sometimes I would just get up at 3 a.m. in the morning, and because they heard me get up at 3 a.m. in the morning, they would start riding a trail bike around the streets. And it's just to let me know that they're listening to me in my home, and it's just to create stress, so that it's the first thing that I hear of a morning before I even start my day. They also send hundreds of stalkers to me when I'm on the road driving. This just happened to me this morning. I had people coming towards me. There was 2 people especially that stalked me while I was on the road this morning that deliberately tried to cause me an accident. They just pulled out and did a U-turn right in front of me. This happened twice this morning. So these people are desperate. So they're sending hundreds of stalkers to me on the road to cause me incidents on the road as well. And of course, hundreds of stalkers on the road means hundreds of cars creating deliberate pollution as well. And this wasn't just affecting me. I mean, there's thousands of people in this town. It was affecting everybody. It would have been affecting people's concentration, would have been affecting people who already had breathing problems. It was extremely stressful to be hearing this all day, every day. It was going on within school hours. It would have been scaring children. It would have been scaring the animals. And I pity anyone who had a baby, throughout the end of 2023 or early 2024, because I can't imagine what that would have been like, trying to deal with a new baby with all that going on throughout the whole year. And who knows what kind of long-lasting effects that's going to have on, very small children's development. Children have no say, neither do animals. They have no say in what the adults create that goes on around them. Would have been affecting everyone's mental and physical health, and it's still happening right now. Right now, they are still sending stalkers up my road regularly, all day, every day. Loud vehicles. Not only do they send them past, some of them go way over the speed limit. And what they do, because they can listen in on my house, I get people going past, and I'm sure they're doing it for attention from their friends, like in their loud cars. I don't know who's watching me in my home. There's random members of the community watching me in my home. There's random members of the community that can see me recording this video right now before I even upload it to YouTube. That's how badly my human rights and privacy is being violated right now. And what they do is like they'll go past in these loud cars and speed up the road, and then they're doing that for attention so that their friends can hear their car or watch their car go past from my house. And it's the same with the people, a lot of the people that live around me that have been involved in carrying out abuse on me. A lot of these people do it for attention too, because they know that their friends are also watching me in my home. And they sit back and they do things, and then they sit back and they can watch my reaction to what they're doing. It's absolutely disgraceful. It really is that this has been allowed to go on. So yeah, I wanted to see who the buck stops with as far as this is concerned, and you know, who was actually in charge of Campbelltown. And Lindy Dietz is the general manager of Campbelltown. She's the CEO of Campbelltown City Council, and she's in charge of the overall operations of everything here in Campbelltown, New South Wales. And I wanted to see what she was about. I wanted to see what her values were and the types of strategies that she uses as far as, you know, being in charge of this town and running things in this town. I wanted to learn a bit about her. So I found an interview, and it was on a website called the ceomagazine.com.au. And yeah, there's an interview on that website with Lindy. And Daniel Hepburn is the interviewer and the writer of that article. And the article and this interview took place on the 16th of March 2018. And Lindy explains in this interview how some of her strategies include the fact that she's devoted to adapting and growing to the town's needs and creating a city that's attractive and livable. Well, I would like to ask Lindy, you know, how livable did she think Campbelltown was throughout 2024? Because it definitely wasn't livable. That was the reality of what I experienced anyway. But if she's, you know, as devoted as she says she is to that, I would like, you know, I would like her to respond to what she thinks about that. In her words, Lindy says that she, quote, tells the good story that is Campbelltown. They are her words. She tells the good story that is Campbelltown because she is an advocate for Campbelltown. Obviously, she's the general manager. One of her concerns is how others see Campbelltown. I don't know why it would be a concern for how others see Campbelltown, because the concern should be what the reality is, not how others see us. Why is it such a challenge? Because of how others see us. There must be something wrong if that's a challenge. She says that Campbelltown's been painted unsafe by the media, and that she thinks that Campbelltown is an incredibly safe place, and the community has a really big heart. Well, I would like to ask Lindy if she could walk a day in my shoes, and if she would still think that the community was safe and that the community has a really big heart after doing that. Because through my eyes, Campbelltown is definitely not a safe place. The police here are abusive. The police are corrupt. And until the corruption is cleaned up at the Campbelltown police station, nothing's going to change. And I can only do that with the help of people like Lindy. I'm being stalked and terrorised in my home by these police. Every single day I've been stalked and terrorised by the police for over a year. All hours of the night I've been stalked and terrorised by these police. I can't call the police if I need help. I can't call an ambulance if I need help because all of these people are in on this abuse. So, you know, can you even put yourself in my shoes for a minute, Lindy, and think to yourself what that must be like? The police make a big joke of what they are doing to me. They think it's a big joke. It is not a big joke. This is being done to cause me bad health. It's being done to deliberately cause me fear and anxiety, deliberately to cause my health to deteriorate. She also boasts in this article that Campbelltown is Australia's first green city and how rich Campbelltown's environment is. This is a complete lie. This is a complete and utter lie. This is nothing like what's actually going on here in Campbelltown. I can't believe that Campbelltown is actually called a green city. That is an absolute lie. There is absolutely no way that Lindy Dietz wouldn't have known what's been going on here. No way. There's no excuse for this. There has been a deliberate reign of terror carried out not only on my life but also on the environment here in Campbelltown. There's also been council vehicles taking part in it. There's also another article here taken from the southwestvoice.com.au. There's two articles here by Eric Kontos. News and Views in Macarthur, the newsletter's called, or the newspaper newsletter. And there's two articles here. One was on the 8th of July 2025, and one dates back to the 2nd of March 2024. Both by the same gentleman, Eric Kontos. So in these articles, Lindy explains that she's a tireless advocate for equality and fairness. She actually received national honours in January 2025. She received National Australia Day honours and received a public service medal for her service, which was another thing that just blew me away, to be honest. What's happened here in Campbelltown over the past 12 months is that Campbelltown has actually gone backwards in two ways. It's gone backwards in the way that we care for our environment here, and it's also gone backwards in the way of equity and fairness for women, or for any human being for that matter. I was discriminated against for my gender, my spirituality, and my status because I'm a single woman. If I had been in a partnered relationship, this wouldn't have happened to me. There's no way this would have happened to me if I was in a relationship. It's because I'm a single woman that they have been able to do this. Now, people would look up to Lindy as a role model, I should imagine. She has a lot of influence and power. She's a mother of 3 girls herself, just as I am. And she's also been a nurse in her career, and she's also been a childcare worker. She was actually the director of childcare for some time for Campbelltown Council. So you would think that, she would have, a natural sense of being kind and nurturing. So how on earth, Lindy, could you sit back and watch another woman, another mother, another grandmother being a totally innocent person like I am, be disrespected and treated in such a cruel, demeaning, and inhumane way for over a year. As a woman, how could you do that? You are supposed to be setting an example for other women, for your daughters, for the next generation, and you're obviously not doing that. Or if you are, it's completely false. You're aware of the noise pollution that was being created. You're aware of the carbon emissions that were being created. That would have been affecting children's asthma. That would have been affecting children's concentration levels in Campbelltown. Especially being an early childhood teacher, you should know how things like that would affect a child's development. I was a childcare worker myself. There have been children abused through this. There have been children actually abused by people that have been trying to trigger a reaction out of me. There have been animals abused by people that have been trying to trigger a reaction out of me. I've also spoken about the fact that there's a pedophile that's been living within metres of a school in one of the suburbs of Campbelltown that the police have done nothing about. I've spoken about this on just about every single video I have made. And I'd like to ask Lindy why she hasn't done anything about that. There has been people deliberately dumping rubbish as a part of this abuse, just to try and trigger a reaction out of me. But the thing is, see, Lindy Dietz doesn't even live here in Campbelltown. She works here, but she gets to go home every night to her home in the peaceful Southern Highlands, far away from the pollution and the noise attacks. So I would like to ask Lindy, how would you like to be psychologically tortured every minute of the day for over a year? How would you like to feel unsafe? No one, with no one whatsoever to call on for help. No one. There are even organisations here in Campbelltown that are meant to be advocates for women that are involved in this abuse, which is just absolutely disgraceful. Every detail of my life is watched 24/7. It's on show to God knows who. I don't know. I have creeps watching me in my home. Creeps and abusers. Pedophiles. Men who have committed vile crimes because the police officer that's committed a vile crime against women and the pedophile that I reported, that I just talked about, they have both been given access to view me in my home and to track me every second of the day. I would like to ask Lindy if she could just put herself in my shoes and if she could step up on behalf of me and all women and help me do something about this. I'm a good, honest member of this community. I don't deserve any of this. I tried doing volunteer work in this community throughout 2023, and the organisation that I went and did the work for actually was carrying out psychological abuse on me. It was all a part of a setup. I didn't know it at the time, but I realised it after it had happened. So I couldn't even do that without being harassed and abused. I donate to Clean Up Australia every month. I take part in recycling programs with Recycle Smart. For those of you who haven't heard of it, like you can look it up. You can get the app on your phone and you can take part in the recycling program. I get all my plastics recycled every few weeks. They're taken away for me. And the impact that I have had on the environment over the past 12 months includes that I have saved 62 kilograms of carbon emissions from going out into the environment, and I've also saved 26 kilos of waste from being put into landfill. But it's all been in vain, you know, and this is part of the reason they're using the environment, they're using the pollution as a part of this abuse that's being carried out on me, because they know I care about the environment. They don't want my contribution to have any impact, which it hasn't. It's been all in vain because of the damage that would have been done here over the past year as a part of these noise attacks and the stalking being carried out on me. Pollution and noise are the new weapon, it seems, that they're using to affect people's mental and physical health. This is the justice system carrying this out, the New South Wales justice system. We need to make more people aware of this so that this doesn't happen to anybody else. I hope my daughters never have to go through anything like this. That's why I stand up, and that's why I keep fighting every day for what I'm fighting for, because I don't want them to ever have to experience anything that I've had to. So the good story that is Campbelltown that Lindy has been telling is actually far from what the reality is. She's been spinning a false narrative, she has. And I think she's really lost touch with reality, to be honest, if that's the story she's spinning out there to people. You know, the reality is that there are crimes being carried out over the past year here in Campbelltown, New South Wales, that violate international criminal laws. My human rights are being violated in extreme ways by the amount of psychological violence and torture that I've been subjected to over the past year. I have suffered over the past year. I have really suffered. And people have just stood back and watched this happen, including Lindy Dietz. This was a deliberate attack on the environment and human life. It was a crime against humanity. That is the reality of what's going on here in Campbelltown, New South Wales. There are crimes against humanity being committed. You would be forgiven if you had visited Campbelltown during 2024 while one of these noise attacks were going on. You'd be forgiven if you actually thought that we were all uncivilized here, if we were all uncivilized people, because that's what it sounded like. Why have you allowed this to go on? What are you going to do about this? This is a lady who has a lot of influence and power. She's just received an honourable award in 2025. This is unbelievable to me. Are we rewarding people now for allowing crimes against humanity to take place? This town has gone backwards over the past couple of years in a huge way. It really has. And that's really all I've got to say today. But I'd like to thank everyone that has supported me. I've noticed that there's been a lot of support lately, and I'd just like to thank each and every one of you that's shown support for my channel, who has watched my videos. Please, if you're watching these videos, please tell your friends, tell people about what's going on here in Campbelltown, New South Wales. Share the video, like the video if you can. I'd really appreciate it, because the more people who know about these kind of conspiracies that are going on between sectors of the community, like the justice system, the health system, councils, The more people that know about these crimes, the better, because who knows how many more people they are going to do this to in the future, and who knows how many people we've lost in the past to things like this. So once again, thank you so much for watching, and have a great afternoon, and God bless. Bye for now.